My tail. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
Well, let me see the tail wag, man.
I'm not sure if I can do that now live.
All right, fair. That's fair.
Hey guys, hi everybody. Welcome to my podcast, and I'm very honored to have my good friend Luis Jiminez. ¿Qué tal, amigo?
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Thank you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to my brother.
Yeah. We're gonna do this in Spanish, by the way. No.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. I do not need the Latino community coming down on me for my terrible Spanish. It's already have enough shame.
My mom was a Spanish teacher when she was younger. She tried to teach us. Didn't work, but
well, that's all right. I mean, how many languages do you speak, Max? 3? 2? 3?
Well, I speak 3 pretty good, but then 2 like a toddler. 2 more like a toddler.
That's pretty good. It's way better than what I speak.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I saw you had Mick West on the other day. How did that go for you?
Amazing. It was amazing. It was probably it was probably one of the best Mick West interviews. I even said it on my show. I normally don't brag about my show. That's not my thing. You know, of course I tell people when it's on, but I don't brag about it.
Yeah.
It was one of the best interviews I've ever heard with Mick West. I mean, honestly. It was I think a lot of, because we all interact with each other on Twitter.
Right.
What's up, Disclosure Team? What's up, Vinny? How you doing, buddy? And he had a killer interview yesterday with Lou.
That's why I put him up. My man, Vinny.
He's the man.
You're the hero. You're the hero of the day.
Such a sweet dude, and it's a great place to get the daily news. Like, that's probably one of the first places I go to see, okay, what am I going to talk about? Let's see what videos Vinny's got up. Let's see what Vinny's talking about, because he's up way before me, so he gets the news before I do, but I'm up pretty early. But yeah, it's the first thing I usually check. One of the first things.
Then my man has an amazing Instagram account. You know,
that's how I found him.
That's
how I found him, man. You know, but yeah. So anyway,
now a great YouTube channel. So subscribe to Vinny.
Dude, he's killing it. I'm so excited to see where his channel goes, because I think it's going to be a good one. One of the great ones, you know, like one of the ones we need. Like, we need channels like this. We need channels like Vinny's. We need more Ryan Sprague's. We need more, Andy McGrillen's. We need more Zach Seichi's. We need more Mick West's. We need all of them. We need all of them. Like, we need to have a rational conversation about this now. It's time. Like, you know, I think this report's going to establish that these objects are real. They're absolutely 100% real. We all know that, but it's going to establish that for the majority who don't. But the beautiful thing is that we got Mick on. What's that?
That's what you're expecting to come out of the.
That's what I think is it. I mean, I was listening to Tim McMillan last night. He was on Spaced Out Radio. And he said there's going to be, he said, I think there's 73 pages in the report, and the public will see 4 of them if we're lucky.
Just 73? Just 73.
73 pages. It's a pretty decent report. I mean, but then again, you know, like, we knew this. Like, Lou Elizondo set the expectation. He said, don't expect a very thick report, because all of these agencies are just not ready to respond to this report. We're lucky that we're even getting one. I thought it was going to be delayed, because Lou said it for months. Expect this report to get delayed. They always get delayed. Yeah. I think what might be happening is that hopefully this is kind of like a preliminary report. Obviously, senators are going to get the classified version of this report. They're going to see all 73 pages. And hopefully that will get the conversation going on the Hill, which then transponds to, we want another report, or senatorial hearings, like one or the other. Like, we need congressional hearings, congressional hearings where we get like Alex Dietrich, Fravor,
Sean Cahill,
all of them, you know, like, and coming out on Congress and testifying before Congress, under oath. Like,
definitely,
I think that would be the next best thing to happen.
I think this Inspector General might have something to do with this report coming out anyway.
Yeah, well, he definitely has parts to do with some of this story. I mean, even Vinny said, he said on Vinny's show yesterday, like the IG is inspecting the process of it. So they're really concentrated on where is the information getting stuck, stopped, or just deleted. And that's where they're going to concentrate on, because right now what's happening, and just look at what Christopher Mellon wrote the other day with his, I think it was 23 list of things that he wants to see out of this report, or questions answered. And one of them referred to Richard Doty, and one of them referred to the fact that amateurs, and I don't throw that word around like you don't know what you're doing, but I mean people like George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell specifically, John Greenwald over at the Black Vault, like these guys are providing more data to Congress than the government. It's a problem. It's a problem in how they collect the information. There's a problem in how they have their personnel report the information, and then on top of all of that, it's not getting funneled to the right people.
No.
So that's what the IG is investigating. That's what they're going to focus on. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they get a process. Look, it's like, oh, you guys are the ones holding it up? Well, you guys are fired. You know?
The thing I was looking at, especially on Vinny's show yesterday, was when something really touched down with me, and that was that Lou has been covering whatever or telling about whatever he was doing to people like you and me. So basically, it's people like you and me we are doing the work.
The amateurs.
The amateurs. Yeah. So basically, look, Corbell, he's a known guy, of course, and he's a real investigative filmmaker, journalist.
Right. No, and like I said, when I say amateur, I don't mean someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Clearly, George Knapp is a journalist. Clearly, Jeremy Corbell is kind of a journalist. He didn't go to school for journalism. He doesn't have a degree in it, but he's a filmmaker. He's a documentarian. And just from personal experience, I know he doubles and triple checks everything. And then, another conversation everyone should go listen to is the Duncan Trussell, Jeremy Corbell conversation, because that the best I heard Jeremy Corbell. I wanted to talk about it on my show yesterday, but we ran out of time. But I digress. It's this idea that these filmmakers and journalists are getting more and better data than our Pentagon. They're getting more and better data than all of these surveillance systems and instruments that we spend tax dollars on.
It's their own military. It's their own military. It's the armed forces. That's the crazy thing.
I think that's what this report's going to be all about.
That means they don't listen to the armed forces. They don't. They disqualify whatever they come up with. They don't want to listen to their stories. Actually, they make them. They muzzle them. They silence them. And now this is the karma you get. They don't have anyone to tell their stories to, so they're telling it to people like you, me, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And
they're starting to, and I think that's what the IG is going to do. They're going to start putting in a process so people don't have to go to Jeremy Corbell, or they don't have to go to George Knapp to tell their story. They could tell it through the military processes, and I mean, what happens to it after that, I don't know. We got to make sure that information and that data goes to the right places.
It's quite heartbreaking, actually. Because we have well, it's quite heartbreaking. We talk like people like Sean Cahill. He suffers from PTSD. So do a lot of the armed forces.
I could tell you almost every single military person that I've talked to in regards to this topic has some form of PTSD.
Yeah. And you know what? I think it might be also because of their higher ranking officers who muzzle them. It's not natural for a human being to be silent about something very you know, how do you say this in English, which is very impactful on your life. You know,
Yeah.
you've seen something, you know, you've never seen before. You don't know what to think. You're probably really scared.
I think that's part of it. I think also they're in the military. Like they're asked to do sometimes horrific things.
For sure.
You know, like how would you sleep at night if you dropped a bomb and you weren't 100% sure who was killed by it?
Yeah.
You know, like that's the kind of trauma that a lot of these guys are dealing with. And then you compound it with they saw something crazy.
Yeah.
It's even, you know, it's even more like, and yeah, it's, I don't want to be political, but the lack of care that we give our veterans after they come home is bullshit. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, I think war is bullshit anyway, but you know.
Well, that too. Like, I mean, but that opens up a whole nother can of worms. But I'm just saying, as the health care that they get when they come home is inadequate.
Definitely.
It's just inadequate.
So also in Holland, by the way.
Especially mental health care. I'm sure everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure everywhere. They don't... Ah, man. That's why it's so hard to trust our governments. Like, they don't care. They'll throw these men and women into any danger, any situation in the scariest places in the world. And then when they come home and they can't comprehend normal life anymore because they don't know what it looks like because they've been gone for 8 to 12 years. Right. There's no place for them to go. There's no place for them to express themselves or feel emotional or
and
or
by
safe.
the way, when you're trained to fight other human beings, you might not even see face to face, but then you encounter a UAP who interferes with your plane or your ship or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a curveball, dude. Yeah. That's a curveball. You're not expecting that at all. You know, so you are already under a lot of stress. You're already expecting something completely different. And that's what you get to see. And you don't get to talk to anyone about it.
Yeah, and if you do, you know, you get laughed at.
Yeah,
you get
ridiculed.
Demoted. You get ridiculed. For a long time, I think all of that is starting to change. And it's obvious. It's so obvious that's starting to change. Like, and that's why David Fravor came out. That's why Alex Dietrich came out, to start the conversation, to kill the taboo, to kill the stigma, to inspire other pilots to come out and tell their stories.
Definitely. By the way, let me take this opportunity to thank JD Briscoe. Thank you, sir.
$5 tono.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about the portraits on your thumbnail.
Yeah. Those are awesome.
Dude, mine was fan art. Like, so God, I don't remember on the top of my head who made it.
AstroCat 27.
AstroCat. There you go.
I don't know his real name.
Thank you for that save. He gave it to me in an email, but I don't want to put that out there. But go check out his art. Good. It's cool. It's very cool. Good. Yeah, it's really cool.
You made also, one of me too.
Yeah, and also a shout out to Olaf Rockner because he's my favorite out there.
Olaf,
dude, Olaf's the man. Olaf is the man. Anyway, but getting back to my my Mick West interview, the cool thing about it, man, was the problem with Mick is that a lot of times we lose translation because we're interacting on Twitter, which is 150 characters.
He's like a red flag, and UFO people. We're bulls when we see Mick West, so we charge it.
Everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the cool thing is he came on my show last night and we had a super chat question, and it was a great question. And they asked, has there ever been a time when the data that you're looking at doesn't explain or debunk, you know, the video?
Right.
And he said the one thing that he has a real problem explaining and can't explain is the David Fravor, Alex Dietrich story. He can't do it. And everybody on the show was like, oh, okay, go on.
He's a good sport. He's a good sport for admitting that.
Look, it's not that Mick West doesn't want to believe. He does. But there's the data that we have, you and me, is not good enough for him. And I understand why. I get it. I genuinely do. Everything is stories. Everything is supposed government documents that in some half the community will say are fake, half the community will say are real. It's so drenched in mud and yuck and taboo and stigma that when you get anything from the government, you have to question it to the highest degree. And so then the question was, well, is there any kind of data that you would accept and maybe change your mind with? And he's like, look, if there are 2 camera angles from 2 jets, now we're talking. Like now I think you're going to have a person like Mick West go, okay, this is perplexing. This is very mysterious. I'm still not going to call it alien because I don't have the proof yet. I haven't seen the body. I haven't seen the alien. But it is mysterious. It is very, very strange. And that's what he's done with the Fravor case. He hasn't explained it. He hasn't debunked it. He admitted it on my show. So, it's just, I think, first of all, Mick's a very cheeky guy. He's very
he's enjoying his little demeanor.
He enjoys part of it. It's part of his humor. But also when he was a game developer and they were doing Tony Hawk, a lot of people were intimidated by him because when he's thinking, he's got a frowning face, and somebody in the chat said it's resting Mick face. Yeah. Like instead of resting bitch face, it's resting Mick face. So, and that face gives off this vibe that what he's hearing or what he's thinking about is making him angry or upset or he doesn't agree with, and that's not the case. He's genuinely thinking about it, right? I mean, this is the only guy who is adding trigonometry to the videos we're watching. These are things that need to be done. I don't know how to do trigonometry. Math is my absolute worst subject by far. But, he does, and nobody else is doing it. And when the math does come back at him, he's got a rebuttal for it. And I'm okay with that. And now that we know 100% for sure that he's not saying it's not aliens, he's saying he doesn't know. And if he's going to put aliens on a list, it's probably going to be toward the bottom of what the explanation is. So until that theory of it's aliens comes with better proof, he's willing to move it up. He's willing to move it up to number 1 if you could prove it, right?
Look, let me tell you this story. Yeah. I write for this national Dutch magazine, and I cover the UAP subject. Right. And when I released the first edition, there were 2 consecutive, but when I released the first edition in April, there is this Dutch dude. He's basically the Mick West equivalent, right? The Dutch equivalent of Mick West. And on Twitter, he tweeted that he found my edition, which I worked very hard on, a lot of work. He said it was embarrassing. Wow. That went right to the feels, Luis Jiminez.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I worked really hard. Yeah. And, that's when I acted like a child and I engaged him on Twitter. And, people like Mick West or the guy I'm talking about, if you do that, look, then you're his. Right? If you act emotional, that's what they love.
Yes.
That's what they love.
Yes. No, he gets a kick out of it. And I've told him that. I've told him that to his face, and he doesn't deny it.
Listen, Luis Jiminez, that's exactly what I did. I got very upset.
Yeah.
So I engaged this guy, and I said, okay, so what is embarrassing? Facts. I want to know what, like that. Yeah. And he came up with very little, actually, because I fucked up one thing. And it was, I think, with the Roswell crash, I said there were also alien bodies recovered. I didn't really put context to it. It was it came out much later, blah, blah, blah. But from the whole edition of coverage of UAP history up until the Pentagon report now, he said it was embarrassing. Yeah. So I made an ass of myself on Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to invite him to the podcast. And I did what you did. I talked to him
Right.
face to face. And you know what, Luis Jiminez?
You agreed.
He's a very nice guy, and I did fuck up that one thing. He couldn't convince me of anything. Whatever I was writing was wrong or embarrassing or whatever. That was just provocation.
Right.
But the thing was, he was like Make West. He was not disqualifying anything, but
Right.
he used to just like, I need data, proof. I need real proof.
Right.
But then again, you can't convince a Dutch guy unless a real alien spits him in his mouth, slaps him in the face. That's when the Dutch guy will be convinced.
I hate to break this to a lot of people. That's going to be a big chunk of people, are not going to believe this until it's right, until they can touch it, taste it, poke it, cut it. They're just it's just, they're not going to believe it. They're always going to put that part in their mind like, hey, there could be a rational explanation with this. And that's fine. That's fine. Just as long as it's met with the possibility is open. You got to keep the possibility of that the rational explanation is wrong and that this is something extraordinary. It's something that we can't explain with conventional physics or science. You're just going to have to. People are going to be it's going to be a very jagged little pill. As Alanis Morissette says, it's going to hurt a lot of people who are resolute about this. The more resolute you're going to be, man, the harder the fall is going to hurt.
Definitely.
So I think maybe Mick West now, because I've encouraged him, dude, talk this out with people. Because anytime a pilot or somebody who does something that's awesome, who explains why Mick West is wrong, I'll reach out to them every time and I'll say, hey, can I get you on my show with Mick? And the first person to say yes every time is Mick. He's like, you tell me when and where, I'll be there.
There's only one time.
And with the other people, it's hard, dude. Like they're intimidated by him because they know they better have their shit together if they're going to talk with Mick.
Yeah, true. But there's one time Mick he really pissed me off. And that's when he said, your Air Force pilots are not good observants. And that I didn't think that was fair.
I don't think it's fair either. And I think I think he would walk that back if he actually said it word for word that.
He was very smug about it. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. Well, but then again, what else is going on in the conversation? Are people being rude to him?
For sure.
You know what I mean? You got to meet, if you want respect, if you want people to listen to your opinion, you got to come to the table with what you want too. You know what I mean? You got to give them what you also want. It's a hard, and it's okay to get emotional because sometimes you do have a viewpoint and you really want to hammer it home. But the moment it gets disrespectful, everything's off the table. At that point, he's gonna be smug because it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, but it might
be a provocation.
Yeah, of course, but it's also like a mask. He might get a bit insecure when people are being hurtful towards him. But I think this touches down on what is actually happening right now in the Pentagon, right?
Yeah.
So we now are facing, and this is what me and Lou discussed when he was in my podcast a month ago, that the biggest resistance they meet in the Pentagon is the human reflex to acknowledge they don't know what something is, or they can't explain what something is. So the resistance they meet from their, say the rivaling parties in this little civil war that's going on, a part of them is actually very religious, and religion turns out to play a big role in this whole secrecy for all these decades. They cannot explain what a UAP is. It's unidentified. So the dude, Lou, asked for more money, more means. A higher ranking officer said, yeah, but I already know what it is. It's angels and demons.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you deal with that, Louis? I mean,
I'm going to say, I think that is, I agree with you on some level, but I don't think that's the force that's pushing this. Not anymore. Maybe in 1980, early 90s, maybe. But I don't think religion is pushing this discussion anymore.
Well, Lou has been a ATIP leader between 2008 and 2017. And in that time, he encountered that. And also
I hear what you're saying. And Harry Reid said it too.
Yeah.
No, I know. But I think Harry Reid's was much earlier. I think Harry Reid's...
He's 175 years old.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, like, I think that quote comes from the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, or the early 2000s. My point is, that's two senators. I've never heard a senator or congressman publicly say anything remotely close to that, publicly. Maybe behind the walls, for sure. There are a lot of religious zealots in I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No. Look, ask yourself, why would Lou Elizondo and Harry Reid make a point out of this in my podcast? Why would they, say this is something we encounter?
I think it's a problem, but I don't think it's the biggest piece of the problem, is all I'm saying. If you took it like 100% pie, I would say 20% of it is religious zealots. The other 80% or close to it, I think really what's going on here is it's not so much I think they're afraid to reveal, not afraid, they just they're not interested in revealing the process. So how did they get the information? How did they collect it? Where did it come from? What kind of instruments? How old are these instruments? What are they used for? What are the different spectrums? All of this sensitive data collecting information that they've been using since the beginning of intelligence gathering. They are not interested in having anyone know any of that process. Doesn't matter if it's from 1945 or 2021, they are not interested in providing secrets on how we get secrets.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I do understand.
That's what's holding this up. It's not religious zealots. It's the Pentagon going, we are not giving you any satellite images. We're not giving you radar. We're not giving you video, because all of those things are ways of how we collect information. Definitely. And we don't want anybody to know that. Sure. That is what we need to focus on. How to loosen the grip on that, Yeah.
And
because religious zealots, dude, people in Congress are starting to be, I'm 40. People in Congress are getting younger.
I'm older.
No, I know, barely. But I'm saying my generation, Generation X, okay, which is 1980, right before the millennials.
Yeah.
We're becoming presidents, congressmen, mayors, senators, city council people. Like, look, we are taking over the government, and we're not as religious, and we don't have these hang-ups like our grandparents or even in some cases our parents.
Hold on. I got a shout out to NNE.
$10.
$10. But he's making a great point too. The people talking about demons in the government are also old, like really old. Here is the USA. Here is the USA. We like to elect dinosaurs, like Joe Biden. Yeah. The younger politicians are way more into this. Yeah, I agree.
I can tell you this. I think Joe Biden is going to be, for a long time, not the last president ever, but I think he's going to be the last president from the boomers that we ever see. Ever. Yeah. He's it. That's it. After Biden, boomer, it's done. Whoever's going to be in there next is going to be younger and is going to be from our generation. And I'm telling you, they're going to be into this UAP topic.
Let me tell you. You know what blew my mind the last couple of weeks the most? Talking about Biden's team, former President Barack Obama, coming out on James Corden. Actually, it was Reggie Watts who asked the question. Great band, The Roots, love them. But it surprised the shit out of me that Obama was like, but I've been dealing with that. Just right there at James Corden's. And then Bill Clinton a week later comes out, and it was at Kelly and Ryan's. I don't know that talk show, but I remember the name. Yeah. And he says, Yeah, I know about that too. We dealt with it, and also, we might not be alone, and we are being visited by alien civilizations.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he said that.
He said that.
But no, he didn't say we. He said we maybe. I don't think any president said we might be being visited by alien civilizations. I think if the question was asked to him, I think maybe the response was, well, maybe. Maybe. But I definitely, for 100% sure, no, a president, ex-president, current president has never said that. But they did hint at it. Like Obama was like,
that's what I said.
I thought you said that the president said. Anyway, whatever. We're getting lost in translation.
We might be.
No, I don't. Yeah, again, I don't think a president said that. If somebody find it. If somebody can find it, put it in the chat. I'd love to check it out. But what I'm saying is I think, yes, you're right. The presidents are coming out and they're saying, they are, especially Obama. I loved when he was like, now I'm being serious. There are objects in the sky that our Pentagon and our pilots can't explain. And it's a serious problem, and they need to look into it. Like that, he definitely said. And that was an awesome moment. That was an awesome moment. Yeah. But now what I'm waiting for is the moment when he doesn't laugh about it first. Well, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the press conference. Hey, well, look at this. Singularity Lab, what's up?
Yeah, I was
Michael.
Michael, my lover. Are you here?
Michael, my lover.
You're here.
Yeah, he's here, man.
Hey,
by the way, he's got a killer show today at 4:00 with Avi Loeb. We're talking to Avi Loeb today at 4:00.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, so be
there.
Oh,
you're going to talk to him too?
Yeah, I'm on Michael's show, dude. Between me and Michael, we do five shows a week, man. Monday through Friday.
Now I'm jelly.
Yeah, dude. Don't be jelly. Don't be jelly.
Well, I am.
Be happy. It's going to get more info, more data, more fun.
JD Briscoe, thank you, sir. No more boomers. Max and Lou for president.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'll be your vice president any day, bro.
The Danish will rule America.
That would be cool.
Or the Hollandaise, or the Dutch.
Oh man, you're never gonna let me live that down. That's okay. I deserve that. I deserve that.
No. It's your education system. Sorry.
It's true. It's true. I got no argument there.
Hey man, but to elaborate on those presidents, Biden, there was this rumor he's going to confront Putin or something about this. Did you hear that rumor?
I heard about it. I don't know if that happened. I mean, based off of Biden's response, I don't think he has any interest in this whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think the only reason...
I don't think he knows where he is, actually.
Well, let's not do that. But I think the only... if the administration does do anything about the UAP topic, like if the executive branch actually responds to it, I think it'll be because of Hillary and Bill Clinton.
Okay. Why is that?
I think they're in his ear. I mean, they helped him get elected.
Right.
And, this is an initiative that Hillary Clinton is very curious about. So what's to say that the Clintons aren't like, hey, Joe, can you make sure that this UAP task force gets through or that it's taken seriously in the next round? Or, maybe talk about it publicly. And when you do, maybe you could say this. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Do you remember what Biden did when he was asked about it?
No, he scoffed at it. That's why I don't think he's interested.
He was
I don't think he cares.
Yeah,
he does not care. He wanted to get off that stage so fast.
I didn't know he could run that fast, actually.
Yeah, I'm interested to know if he's been briefed on it. Has the president been briefed on UAPs? The current president of the United States, Joe Biden. That's a question I want to see asked in the press room. Like somebody needs to ask that question.
Yeah, I do think so because you touched on something that's very, very correct. He is a boomer, and those are very stubborn people. They don't like to be messed with their axioms. So again, we're talking about change. Because this whole thing might change mankind. This whole thing might change everything we know as humans. So whatever is coming out, it's and a human. Fear is of course change. People don't like everything to be different. You have your mortgage, you have your kids, you have your job, you have your country, your city, your planet, and now we are just, you know, a potentially, you know, we could be not alone or whatever it is, you know, there's something more.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, you know, I'm excited. Let's see what happens with this report. You know, like I can't wait to see the 4 pages we're going to see out of it, or the 5 pages, whatever we get to see. You know, I'm just hoping that it 100% confirms for everyone unequivocally the objects are real. You know,
Definitely.
they're real. We don't know what they are. They're not Russian. They're not Chinese. They're not Antarctican. They're not Hollandaise. You know, they are something that we cannot catch with any one of our current systems. You know, it outmaneuvers us. It shows up in places that we cannot explain, and we don't know why they're there.
Yeah.
Especially very sensitive nuclear facilities.
Well, there is
You know,
more.
that's all I hope. That's all I hope for the report. But I've got
Well,
my expectations very low. I don't
well,
even think we'll get that.
Lou Elizondo, you know, he has been giving away what he's allowed to give away. So if we're talking about, you know, the systems that can catch signals, signature, data, footage, etc. You know, actually at Vinny's yesterday, he said there's so much more, and we do have
Yeah.
data, we do have more footage, and you know, and it's very compelling, it's very convincing.
Yeah.
So there is more, right? So we just have to go
So we've
on
been
what
told.
we.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, I
So
believe there's more. There's definitely There's definitely more. There has to be. There
yeah.
has to be.
Hey, by the way, Lewis, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, you know, our UAP experiences. You had one when you were about 13 years old.
hmm
I was wondering, have you been seeing anything since that time?
Man, that's a good question, Max.
Putting you on the spot.
Yes, but not as clear, not as definite
All right.
as that night.
Okay.
I've got a picture of an orb that I took in Los Angeles in the middle of the day, and a cable repair guy saw it with me, so I knew I wasn't crazy. But it could have been a balloon. It could have been who knows? It could have been. It was weird. It was weird. It was really really high. I took it with like an iPhone 6.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so it's like it doesn't prove anything, but
No.
it's there, and so like I know I saw it. I watched it for about 15 minutes, and it just sat there.
Okay.
It wasn't moving.
It was just hovering.
Yeah, it looked like a pebble, you know, but even like half a it was almost like a grain of sand. I could barely see it,
And
but
did it disappear?
it
Or
was shimmering. It was like it was so far away that it was coming in and out of disappearing, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. I saw that too.
Yeah, I mean, it was far, man. It was, and then it just faded away. I didn't see it do any crazy maneuvers. I didn't see it, you know, it could easily have been a balloon. It could have
Right.
been a balloon. Like, but it was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, I have been wondering about, you know, why I saw that, you know, a month ago or something.
Yeah.
I keep on thinking about, you know, the Native Americans for some reason. You know, the anecdote, right? That some Native Americans weren't able to see the Spanish ships in front of their shores because
Yep.
their minds couldn't comprehend something they hadn't ever seen before. Other people could see it, and they said, "Look at that! Look at that! You know, there's something going on." And you know, it was until the Spanish actually walked onto the shore, they were like, "Oh, who the hell are these creatures or these people?" You
Right.
know, right? So I've been thinking, you know, maybe, you know, that there's something that has to be awakened in you or something, you know, that your mind has to that you turn on a switch
hmm
of some sort. I can't let it go because I have been seeing since that time. I have been seeing more, and I'm just freaked out like hell.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen him.
Thank you, creative thinking. Thank you
Whoa.
so much. Thank you.
Nice, man. Nice.
Wow.
What's an SEK?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
South Africa? No.
No, I think no. I think
help
I've
us
got
out,
South
creative.
African. Yeah, I don't know, but that's awesome. That's awesome. I'd never seen that currency before. I was hoping you knew. But yeah, man. I mean, you know, I do love Lou Elizondo's explanation of you know, not being able to see 99% of what's going on around you. You know, you've got cell phone signals, you've got gamma rays, you've got radiation, you've got all sorts of invisible things flowing through you at right now. I mean, just the energy from these microphones and cameras and the lights. I mean, you know, this idea of how cool would it be, you know, if we had these goggles that were allowed us to see through these filters. You know, and yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, dude. I am not taking anything off the table when it comes to the phenomena. My mind is absolutely open to anything.
Right.
You know,
well, Vinny asked a great question to Lou, because in my interview a month ago, I asked him about the shapes of the UAPs, right? Why do you sometimes see a cigar? Why do you sometimes see a tic tac? Why do you sometimes see a triangle, etc.? So Vinny asked Lou, he was elaborating on that a little bit. He asked him, is that per individual? Is maybe say we see something in the sky, but I might see a orb and you might see a triangle, right?
Yep.
And that's when Lou went and gave a very long explanation.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what he explained, but
well, I think it's you know, hold on a second.
Oh, Michael Knight is there.
Maybe. I was gonna say, so somebody had put in the chat, the SEK is a Swedish krona.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, let me put this on vibrate. So it's a Swedish krona. That 50.
Oh, it's Swedish.
Yeah, somebody put it in the chat. Yeah. Ryan H put it in the chat.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, I think it's, again, going to this idea of a filter. Like it was Fran Blanche who was like, she used this example the other day on her science channel, and I loved it. And I've already got a hole from explaining this the other day. She's like, imagine that this piece of paper, this part of it, you know, this two-dimensional flat thing. Imagine that is everything that we ever lived in or know. Okay? Yeah. And then all of a sudden this phenomena is able to do this, you know, and pop through it for a second or 10 minutes or whatever. So that pops through our existence. It's going to be interpreted so many different ways by different people.
Right.
How do you explain that? What is that? You know, like, you know, I think it's shiny and reflective. Somebody else might think it's pointy and, you know, and I don't know, pyramid looking. There's so many things, you know, like people are going to interpret it differently, but this idea that this phenomenon just pops through our existence is very fascinating to me. And I know that this is going to be a quantum physics discussion very soon, you know, and thank God that there's professionals like Lex Fridman and Michio Kaku and all of these wonderful people that already have an open mind. So when this stuff starts coming down the road, they can explain it to me.
Yeah, but what are you going to ask Avi?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things we could ask Avi, but primarily I think the discussion is going to be how do we get people from talking, you know, how do we establish that, number one, these things are real? And then how do we get them from talking, okay, these things are real? What's the next step? Do we go start talking about aliens? Do we start talking about abductions? Do we start talking about, like, what's next? You know,
look, he's a very unique guy because he's one of the few scientists who actually you know thinks this might be alien, you know, something alien, right?
Yeah, or at least is thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's at least saying it out loud. And that's the difference between him and every other scientist. He's just saying it out loud.
Yeah, and they're canceling him.
And they're getting pissed off. And it's just like, well, okay, but you're going to look really dumb. You already look a little dumb, but I think you're going to have even more egg on your face in 2 to 5 years.
Look, the thing about people like Avi is, why are people so determined to ruin scientists like him, or in Holland we had Koen Vermeeren, or the thing is, people do not, again, I go back to this, people do not like it if you mess whatever they know for now.
No, it's too hard. It's like trying to get your grandma to learn how to use an iPhone, right? If she could just get it, it would probably improve her life significantly. But because she's stuck in her old way of thinking, she doesn't even want to think about an iPhone. Like, it doesn't, she's not interested. You know what I mean? Like, like most old folks, and that's why, old folks tend to start having mental problems because they refuse, some of them, not all of them, but they refuse to learn new things.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's just not activating a part of your brain that you normally don't use is like exercising. It's like, it's hard to learn something that is completely foreign to you. So I think that's part of the issue,
Yeah. Sorry, I have a couple of dropouts, but the thing about people like Avi is they are so needed. We need people like Avi. I wish more scientists would take the risk and stick out their necks and try to investigate this and step out of this ego thing. This group dynamic, which goes into any level of society, right? It goes into the military, into the scientific areas. People, need to step it up right now. Hey, there's Christina.
Yeah, I saw that. Hey, girl.
What a pair of truth seekers. Yeah. So, yeah. By the way, Christina, speaking about truth seekers, you are quite an investigator yourself.
No, dude, I don't investigate. Let's be clear. I don't.
Not talking about you, man. About Christina.
Oh, Christina. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Christina investigates. No, you're right. No, she is awesome. Yeah, she really does investigate. She actually reads and she looks at stuff. I do read as well, but she goes 14 other steps beyond what I do. I look at the news. I try to decipher it. I try to have people come on and help me break down, like Christina. That's why Christina's on my show, because she's smarter than me. She helps me break down the information. That's why
I had her like on 2 weeks ago.
I saw that.
Yeah, she kept insulting me with her intelligence. It was horrible.
Hey, you gotta be careful, man. She ain't holding back on anybody.
No, Christina, we love you. So. Is there any really cool guest you're getting aside Avi, or anything?
Well, man, it's right now my biggest concentration has been streamlining the show. Has been doing all of the new promotional stuff and getting my channels to look really good, and we've got artwork up and stuff that matches the show, getting the podcast artwork, just making sure everything looks as professional and as clean as possible. And now that we've got the show in a really good space, she's a sweetheart. Now that we've got the show in a really good space, we can start really, because right now, dude,
well, you're doing a great.
It's hard. It's hard. Like I wake up doing this for 5 days a week. It's hard. It's hard work. I wake up at 4 a.m. I work a very terrible job for 7 to 8 hours. I get home. I research as much information as I can. I try to get prepared for the show as best as possible. We do the show for 2 hours. And then we have notes after the show where we sit down and we say, okay, what could we have done better? What was good about the show? Blah, 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 blah. When we're done with that, we then start planning for the next show, And so a lot of my planning is literally a week out. So I have Dan Warren coming on next Monday, and that's all I've got planned for next month. But this week we had Mick West. Tomorrow we've got Avi Loeb. Wednesday on my show, we've got Jason McClellan and Ryan Sprague. And then UFO Jane's going to be there as well. We're going to do the Skinwalker Ranch review. On Thursday, we've got Stephen Greenstreet from the New York Post. And I'm forgetting the name of his show. How embarrassing. But Stephen Greenstreet. The basement office. Stephen Greenstreet's going to be on Michael's show on Thursday. And then on Friday, we've got a UAP panel that's going to be awesome. It's going to be a cool, killer discussion. We're going to talk about the UAP report. We're going to see what's in it, what was said, what's next, all that stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be cool.
Christian Thompson, I love you, man.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Love me some Chris. He was one of my first fans, Christian Thompson.
Yeah,
he was actually the first person to ever call on my show, ever.
Okay, so big news on Vinny's Instagram tomorrow for you. Well, Christian, I am going to check that out most definitely.
Yeah, dude. I can't wait for that.
Maybe I'll jump on.
There you go.
That would be cool. And JD Briscoe, dude, thank you.
You're welcome.
So much.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, look, if you want to thank me, go to the show, subscribe, like the channel. If you've got the means, go help us on Patreon, because the more support we get, I mean, look, we're a public access channel, man. We're supported by people like you.
Exactly.
I love doing this 5 days a week, but I need help. I can't do it by myself. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
so that's why we got the Patreon. That's why we got the super chats. It's a great way to support the people, the voices that you enjoy in this field.
Yeah, I would like to say something about it. People like Louis, myself, Vinny, Sean Rash, Christina, Michael Medaluni, you name them. Ryan Sprague. Yeah, it's a difficult name.
It's Sprague.
Sprague.
It's easy. Yeah,
Sprague. Anyways, we
easier than Moszkowicz. No, am I wrong?
I know, right? I know. I think
I'm just kidding.
Someone said on the keyboard when they tried to put on it. but it's so important that you guys support us, because we do grind, because we have our jobs, we have our families, our kids, and it's not easy, because like people like Lou Elizondo or Harry Reid, me too, as a journalist, as a filmmaker, I do get ridiculed over here. People actually give me advice, dude, you're committing career suicide if you covered it.
Are you kidding me? I'm an actor in Los Angeles, man. Like, I'm not doing my career any favors. No. Zero by doing this show. Zero.
Right.
I'm doing this because I like it. And
it's for the love.
It's for the pure love. And if a studio doesn't want to hire me because I have a UFO show, all right, go find another actor. I don't care anymore. I really don't. I've lost all shits. I don't care. Like, I just don't care. If you think I'm weird, fine. In 5 years, you won't.
Louis doesn't give F's anymore. He's doing what he loves.
Done.
And power to you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
There we go. So let's see. Well, and again, Schoolcraft, thank you for your donation.
Nice.
No plan survives the report due this week.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's right. No one's going to get it 100% right. No. We have an idea, but we're not going to know until it's here. And my plan, set my expectations as low as possible. That's my plan. I expect nothing. And then so that way, if something cool comes out, I can get excited.
Yeah. You know what? We're going to have a lot to talk about when the report comes out.
We will. I mean, Christina Gomez, I was talking to her the other day about it, and she's like, I think the post discussion is going to be very fascinating and very, very busy. It's going to be just as busy. Just as many people are going to be talking about the ramifications of this report. And right. I won't be surprised if a couple of details leak from the from the classified version of this. I'm not saying pictures or video. I'm just saying details.
Look, like this has been the tactic of Lou, Mellon, Reed. You know, they're basically, you know, putting the government and the DoD on the spot, because if they keep on leaking this, if people like you and me keep uncovering this to the mainstream public, they have to keep on how do you say, confirming the images that are leaked. You know, and now they are slowly adding some data. Now they are slowly adding some more information. And, you know, the longer they keep on from releasing the real information to the general public, they're going to do it more and more and more. This train is not stopping, you know, and this is the message from Lou actually to these people. You know, we have a right to know now.
Yeah. Well, it's our tax dollars that pay for those instruments and planes.
Fuck yes. Yeah.
You know, like we have a right to some of that information. I understand we don't have a right to all of it. I get that. But we have a right to more than what we have. That is 100% for sure.
For sure.
So, you know, that conversation is not going anywhere. And the beautiful thing about, you know, paradigm shifts, the beautiful thing about, you know, my channel, your show, what Vinny's doing, Brian Sprague, I mean, the list goes on and on. That UFO podcast, like Zach Seichi, I don't want to miss anybody, but I know I am. You know, Tim McMillan, all of these guys are doing the work that MSNBC, CBS, Fox, they don't know how to talk about this.
No,
they can only talk about it in 2-minute bits. And then they're like, okay, got to get out of here because it's too weird. But yet their audience is like, we want more. And that's where we come in. You know,
look,
we're here to give you more.
Let me tell you this story. Like when I released those magazines in Holland, right?
Yeah.
Actually first the biggest newspaper started covering it like in that week. A little later, the second biggest started covering it, and now like the three biggest Dutch newspapers are covering this. But there's one fascinating thing that's going on. They are just copy pasting American media. They copy paste the New York Times. They copy paste anything that comes from America, but they're not talking to anyone.
Yeah.
What the hell journalism is that? You know?
No, they don't know how to do it.
No,
that's the problem.
No. I know what it is. They're still hesitant. You know, it's still the shame culture around the subject.
But why are they hesitant, though?
It's the shame culture for the subject.
I don't think so. I think it's because they don't know how to talk about it. They've never read a UFO book ever. You know, and now they're getting UFO information from the government, and they're trying to figure out how to talk about it. And they don't. They don't want to sound stupid on something that is difficult to understand.
Well, yeah. Let me say like the Dutch perspective, because this is the feedback I get from my colleagues. They think I'm nuts. You know, they think I wouldn't even touch that. You know, it's dangerous, it's scary, it's embarrassing. You know, you could lose your career. There's a lot of fear involved in this.
Right. Well, that's why we only have like 5 journalists that are talking about this. You know, you've got George Knapp, who's been doing it forever, the first guy. You know, you've got Gadi Schwartz. I always mix up Jazz Shaw and Gadi Schwartz.
I like Gadi, yeah.
Gadi Schwartz, right? You've got Stephen Greenstreet. You now have Ezra Klein just reported on this. You've got Tucker Carlson. You know, you've got the 60 Minutes crew. You've got Maria Bartiromo talking about it a lot. It's you're literally watching it happen right before your eyes.
Leslie Kean.
Just look closer. Yeah, Leslie Kean is an amazing journalist.
Oh,
these are real journalists. Oh, I wouldn't say Tucker Carlson is a journalist, but he's part of the media. He's part of the media.
Look, I have respect for Tucker because he has the balls to cover it. You know, I do respect that.
Look, man, he's right sometimes. Sometimes he's not. I personally don't like him. That's just me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to ignore the information he puts on the table. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to watch it.
I like the way he looks when he's really interested. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but he's not a journalist like Leslie Kean. Let's just be clear. He's not a journalist like George Knapp. He he reads lines off a teleprompter. He's got his ideas, he's got his thoughts and his opinions that he puts into the show, but he's not like, when that camera stops rolling, he doesn't go straight to the newsroom and start researching the next hot story he's going to be talking about. He's got a room full of writers and producers and researchers to do that for him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not sitting there writing the teleprompter stuff.
How did he become anchor then? He must have done something right.
His dad was a local news reporter in San Francisco.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what I mean? It's nepotism to the nth degree. He was not a good college student. He's not smart. Like,
okay, let's not.
Like, I'm just telling you, those are facts.
I'm not
those
gonna
are facts.
I don't like trash talking anyone.
No, that's not trash talking. Those are facts.
All right.
Like, those are just facts. I mean, I will listen to, again, if he's talking to Lou Elizondo, I'm going to listen every time, every single time. And he's done some good work on that front.
Vinny just came up with, I just confirmed an interview with Gary Hesseltine, VP of ICER, the International Coalition of Extraterrestrial Research. Wanted to let you guys know. Well, Vinny, big shout out to you, and guys, going to be great. So, let's say there is maybe one more thing we could cover. I wanted to talk about this. We don't talk about Tim McMillan a lot because he's onto something. And I think he is a very amazing investigative journalist.
Yeah. Probably one of the best.
Yeah. And, you know, this picture, I'm very curious about it. It has been confirmed to me by a couple of people who've seen it that it's supposed to be really amazing. But what do you think about that? What is going to happen with that? Because I have a feeling this might play a little bit of a role later on.
When you say picture, do you mean the triangle photo that everybody's talking about?
Right. Yeah. Something. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be part of the report.
No.
Yeah. But what I mean, what's the question? What do you mean? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Well, you know, it's supposed to be a very secretive picture, and
well, it's like the worst kept secret in Congress. I feel like it's like, you know, when you were in high school and somebody was going to have a fight after school, or somebody was skipping class or something, and it was like, oh my God, hey, did you hear? Dude, you got to get back to the office because there's a report on my desk about UFOs. And there is this crazy triangle photo. You got to go check it out, Congressman so-and-so. And they're like, dude, you see, I'm serious. Come on. Like, you got to go check this out. And it's like the worst kept secret in high school. Everybody knows about it. I think the picture's real. I don't know if we're ever going to see. Well, I mean, at this point, I feel like we're going to have to see it. I just don't know when.
Yeah, I feel like he has it or something. You know?
Well, who do you think has it?
No, Tim.
You think Tim McMillan has it? I don't think so.
No?
I think he's maybe seen it.
Right.
Maybe. But yeah, I don't think he can't have it because it's part of a classified briefing. Tim McMillan doesn't have classified access to anything. I don't think.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
but I think if Tim McMillan hasn't seen it, he's definitely talked to someone who has. So, you know, I'm interested, dude. I can't wait. I'm dying to see. Everyone is dying to see that photo.
Hey man, what do you think about Skyfort?
I think it's great.
Yeah,
I think it's
me
great.
too.
I talked to a couple of the guys from Skyfort. And one was telling me, you know, it's an initiative. One of the initiatives is to get a Neil deGrasse Tyson, is to get, you know, a Michio Kaku. Well, you can't hate him, man. He's one of the biggest scientists and public advocates for science on the planet.
Don't hate his science. Yeah. I don't hate his
I understand. It's like he's your Tucker Carlson. I understand.
No, not the thing. Look,
just kidding.
I think you know the way I'm a big Rogan fan. When he's on Rogan, not the last time, but the time before that,
Yeah.
He has a very paternalistic way about him. He cuts
Right.
you off. He's going to tell you, little boy, the big scientist is going to
Yeah.
explain the shit, mansplain the shit to you.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
he is
like
a
the.
scientist though. He's an intellectual, man. That's what really, I don't know why, but a lot of really smart people come off that way. I mean, Elon Musk. Nobody likes Elon Musk. Nobody likes Bill Gates. Nobody likes Jeff Bezos. These are all very eccentric billionaires, brilliant people. They're
I
weird. And I
I
think
I
Neil
like Elon.
deGrasse, I like Elon too, but not everyone likes Elon. Like they almost didn't have him on Saturday Night Live because that many people don't like him. So like it's every one of these people are going to be split down the middle on who likes him, who doesn't. But we need Neil deGrasse Tyson, whether you'd like to admit that or not. We have to have him.
Well, I'd like
Looking at
Neil
this.
to be more open-minded about
I
this.
want Neil to read a book.
Right.
That's what I'd like.
And this is the problem, you know?
Yeah.
He's just not willing to do that, He's so
Right.
stuck in his own preconsumptions. Right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's done this much research on UAP and UFO. This much.
Right.
And he's giving you a definitive answer on something he really is not educated on. And I
No.
think that's what disappoints me about Neil deGrasse Tyson, because
But
everything I've ever heard him say goes against what he's doing. And so he's kind of like a walking contradiction right now.
Yeah.
And I wish he would stop saying shit like that. And just read a book. Like just read Leslie Kane's book. I think that book alone would hopefully lead him down a path where he starts taking it more seriously.
Yeah, that would be great, because I am actually a fan of Neil deGrasse, but
Yeah.
it was this particular Rogan interview when he was talking about UAPs and aliens that he just got so aggressive. He got so dismissive.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Well, I mean, because you're making Neil deGrasse Tyson is or used to be, I don't know if he still is. He was the head of the Hayden Planetarium in New York City.
Yeah, that's something.
And the Space and Science, museum.
Yeah, and maybe like
He's-
people like Neil, they're like, if it were something like that, I would have known, right? I am the scientist. I am the.
Well, basically, if this is true, his job, or not all of it, but a big part of it, is obsolete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His books, if this is true,
Oh,
are obsolete.
that's
it's
harsh.
It's
Yeah.
like that's what he might be defending. Not consciously, maybe somewhere subconsciously.
No, this is illustrative of all science on this topic right now, right? Because back to the drawing board.
Science.
Back to the drawing board. Everything we thought we knew is not quite right, which is again a scary thought.
I mean, I don't know why that's a scary thought for him. For me, it would make him more money and make him look way cooler if he actually took some time and looked at this.
Hey,
And just shared a little bit of humility and a little bit of vulnerability, and I think he'd be even a bigger star than he is now. It's
Hey,
just
man.
weird. Yeah,
I have a question for you. You're of Cuban heritage, right?
yeah.
Do you ever study any stories from your roots from Cuba about the
About
UAP?
UAP?
Yeah,
No, it's very hard to get information out of Cuba, though.
I get that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get that.
It's I don't even know what their libraries look like. If they have I mean, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
They definitely do, but I don't know what kind of books are in those libraries.
Lenin, Trotsky.
Yeah, I know. Like if there is a UFO book in any library on Cuba, is it translated in Spanish? I have no clue. I have no clue, dude. It's a great question. I wonder. That's a great question, Max, because I've never even thought about it.
Maybe ask Lou. He's of Cuban heritage
Well,
too.
I mean, look, Puerto Rico has a ton of U.S. military bases, and they've got a ton of sightings. Guess what else Cuba has? A ton of military bases, and maybe a ton of UAP sightings, you know, or USO sightings around that island, especially Guantanamo.
Yeah, I know.
There are no nuclear bases on Cuba, so
You know what? Well, look, Louis. In the '60s, there was a huge crisis, right? It was when the Soviets, I think they were moving nuclear weapons towards Cuba, and that was a real threat to the United States, right? With almost like the Third World War.
Intimate threat. It is.
Yeah.
Like 90 miles away is a nuclear warhead.
I think that was actually when we came closest to an actual nuclear war.
Yes. Yes, it was a Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, basically, it was the United States had missiles in Turkey.
Yeah.
Right on the border of Russia. And they pointed the missiles at Russia. And so Russia was like, okay, we can do that too. And they put a bunch of missiles on Cuba and pointed it at the United States and said, how do you like that? And thank God, Kennedy was like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, we can't do this. We can't do this. And he negotiated, you know, that the weapons be taken off of the Cuban border. And I believe that the missile silos, or at least the direction they were pointing, were no longer pointing at Russia. So, you know, that's how you negotiate. But yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary.
The thing I'm wondering about, because whenever there's a real threat or a real crisis like that, these things tend to show up, right? I've talked to this about Lou Elizondo, for example. Not just like nuclear wars, but also nuclear plants. For example, the case in Japan, Fukushima.
Yeah,
there's a lot of eyewitnesses when that happened, right? I think there's even a lot of footage of that. You know, there was a lot of activity. So it might be interesting to study the Cuba crisis.
I mean, yeah, if you can, it would be cool. It would be cool. I don't know what aspect I would start with first. You know, like I'm curious to know if the ships transporting the weapons had any incursions or sightings either underwater or above it. That would be interesting. I'd be interested to know, did UAP sightings go up on the island of Cuba when there were missiles on there?
Well, look, it's right in the hotspot. It's right in the hotspot, right?
For sure. You know? It goes right through the Bermuda Triangle, pretty much.
Right, yeah. So that, okay. Well, but, you know, this is Mission Impossible because you can't get any information out of Cuba.
Yeah, I mean, good luck, you know, good luck. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you would have to go through Russian government files to get that information. Yeah. Because they were the ones on the boats. They were the ones transporting the weapons.
Well, the Russians there's stuff coming out of Russia at the moment too, right?
Yeah. So, I'd like to see. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see more. You know.
I see this obscure documentaries about Russian military officers talking about their encounters, and you know they're out there, dude. It's big. UAP, thank you again. Knowing enough to think you are right, but knowing enough to know you're wrong. Yeah, he needs to listen to himself. I think he's talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude. Yeah. I mean, look again. People like Neil deGrasse Tyson are painting themselves into a corner, and it's going to be a very lonely corner. But hey, man, I'll be there to help him out of it whenever he wants to get out of it. I would love to talk to Neil. I mean, you know what's funny, man, is I've run into him like 3 times when I lived in New York City. I saw him twice on the subway and once in LaGuardia Airport, and I never went up to talk to him. I was so disappointed in myself, man. If I saw him today.
Oh man, I did that in New York actually. When I saw a really famous person, and I made an ass out of myself, but I got the autograph. It was John Turturro.
John Turturro?
Yeah, I couldn't.
That's cool.
I watched the Spike Lee films. I love that guy.
John Turturro's an awesome actor, dude. He's awesome.
Oh, Big Lebowski, and I was like, I remember I was in film school actually, and I remember I was carrying a camera case. It was an 16 millimeter Aeroflex, and
okay,
yeah, and
that's cool.
This is almost 20 years ago. I'm old as fuck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I remember me like trying to get myself to go up to him and ask for an autograph, and I didn't have the balls. But then he got out at the same station in Brooklyn where I was supposed to get out because I
There
was
you go.
living there, and I went up to him and I stumbled something or stuttered something and
Yeah.
like, I'm a film student from Amsterdam and I would like your autograph, something like that.
Yeah.
And he was very kind and
Listen, man, if you are an A-list actor and you take the subway,
yeah,
you're cool. You're
yeah.
cool. You know what I mean? And that's what I liked about Neil is Neil takes the subway when he I don't know if he still lives in New York City. I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah.
But he takes the subway everywhere. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, you know, like I think what it would take is a bunch of his colleagues to go, Neil, stop being a jerk and just look at data. Just look at the data. And once he gets it, I think he'll be cool about it. But and that's why I like Skyfort, you know, because I think Skyfort is going to try and give a person like that the right data to have them look over it and then hopefully influence them to start talking about this stuff.
Well, you know, Sean Cale, you know, he's I think he's actually the one who set it up, right?
He was
Skyfort.
one of them. Yeah, it's him, Jake Mann, and there's one other person in there. I don't know if his name's on it, so I don't want to give away his name, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, no better person than Sean Cale, you know.
I agree, man. I love Sean. Actually, I just got a text from him a few minutes ago. I don't know what it says, but yeah, you know, yeah. Sean was when I had a really scary moment. Just some stuff happened that I was like, wow, I'm kind of scared. First person I called was Sean, and he picked up and he calmed me down, thankfully.
All right.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really, really good dude.
Was it the Secret Service, Louis?
No, it was not the Secret Service. It was just, I can't tell you about it. It was a lot of internal stuff going on, having to do with the channel. Yeah, that's all I want to say about it.
No, don't worry about
That's
it.
all I want to say. But it was a very eye-opening, like, oh, that happens, huh? Well, that shouldn't be happening. That's actually kind of scary. And so, yeah, that he was the first person I called. The first person. Because I knew. Because
that's a friend.
I just, yeah. I don't want to go as far as to call him a friend. I don't, I've only talked to Sean 3 or 4 times in my life. So to call him a friend, but I knew, at least in my heart, I could trust him. And so that's why I reached out to him.
Well, there's a funny thing going on. Since I've dove into this community, right? I met people like yourself, people like Sean, Lou, but also like my friends Vinny, etc.
Yeah.
There's something that is very similar to the individuals who are into this topic. They tend to be very open-minded. They tend to be very friendly. They tend to be
a lot of them are artists, which
very,
I find
very creative and very intelligent too, and well-read, etc. So it's a funny way that you find some like minds on a niche like this.
Yeah, no, it is interesting, man. It definitely This topic is definitely.
I gotta say, Sean Rash, my buddy, I should not forget him.
Sean Rash. I don't know if I've met Sean Rash.
He wrote a song for Lou. Yeah, he was on your show actually.
Okay. Yeah. Citizen Witness.
Yeah.
No, I love that dude. He is the man.
He is very talented, by the way.
I know he is. Yeah. I know he is. Trust me.
Did you hear his music?
I have heard his music. Yeah, it's great.
It's fucking. He blew my mind. He was like, I talked to him a lot, but he was like, yeah, I'm a musician too, and I wrote a song for Lou. Can I, send it to you and you check it out? And I was like, oh God, now I'm gonna have to say it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it was, it was incredible. It was really good.
Yeah,
And
No,
I think Louis,
he's a great dude, and I've had a couple conversations with him offline as well.
yeah,
Because he was asking me, he's like, man, I don't know, he was having a lot of doubts, and I was like, look, if you doubt yourself, then nobody's gonna watch. I would kill to live in the same state you live in and do what you do, because I can't do what he does on his channel
right.
from where I live. I'm just legally not allowed to do it, but he can. And I told him,
What, smoke a joint? Or
no, call Congress and senators on live streams. He's allowed to do that in his state.
I know.
I cannot. So that's why I was like, dude, you have a very unique opportunity to do something so different and something I would love to do. And I'm going to be on his show, I think, tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, we're going to talk. I've been on his show once before. I think I was his first guest, because I love that dude. He's so much more important than he realizes.
Look,
and when he gets it, he's going to be a force in this movement. Because
definitely. I'm gonna try to help him out too, because he is a very vulnerable man, right? And I commend him.
He's an artist. We all are.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an actor. I'm a filmmaker. He's a musician. Everybody,
we're sensitive dudes.
Yeah. I don't cry a lot though, but
I used to not to. Now I'll watch a Disney movie and start crying. It's sad.
No. I after the birth of my son, I cry all the time. I have to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go. I don't know. It's just something that happens when men hit a certain age. They just start crying at everything. I was just like, "What's wrong with me?"
I had it like when my son was born. That was the moment when the switch went.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of water.
Yeah. I don't have a son or a daughter yet. I'm working on one. It's the next thing.
I by the way,
oh wait, you hold on. You're frozen. I can't.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Okay.
Can you see me?
I can hear you. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah. So a while ago, I think I FaceTimed you, and you were in your car with your girlfriend.
Yeah,
remember?
That's right. Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And I said, hello, Mrs. Jiminez. and he got stressed. Luis got stressed. He was like, no. Yeah. And she was like, he has to put a ring on it. He has to put a ring on it.
Yeah, like, man, I do remember that phone call, and I feel like it came right after our Mother's Day show. Or right before it, where we had my mom and Mike's mom come on the show and talk about UFOs on Mother's Day. It was hilarious. And basically the whole show was Mike's mom and my mom asking me, when am I getting married? When are you gonna ask Michelle to marry you? That was the whole show. So yeah, it's coming. We're close. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Right. On that note, thank you very much,
dude. Thank
my
you,
friend.
Man. It's always a pleasure to see your face. It's always a pleasure to hear your voice, man. Max Moszkowicz, the getter of secrets, the prior of information, dude. Every time these guys come on your show, I'm like, why do they never say these things on my show, Max? And I've been meaning to get to hit you up and be like, you gotta hook me up with, how did you get Harry Reid? We gotta talk about that. Because I will try to get Harry Reid on my show, baby.
I will tell you, and you might be much closer to the source than you think, my friend.
I maybe that's all right. I see where you're going. You're going.
Yeah.
No, I know. I got to make it. I just, you know what, man? I'm an artist. I'm very sensitive, right? So like, if people like, I'm always questioning, does he or she like me? Is this text, is it bothering them? Like, or is this email bother? Like, I never, especially with these guys, like, I
No.
don't want to come
Lewis,
across as
Lewis.
gimme, you know?
No, Lewis. It's
Yeah.
not gimme. They want to. They want to. You have to imagine they really want to. And
I know. No, you're right. You're right, dude. You're right. That's how you got Harry Reid, man. You're right.
And let me tell you one thing. Maybe you always have a show with a lot of guests, right?
Yeah.
People sometimes like these heavyweights feel a bit more comfortable when it's more like a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I know for a fact you can carry that easily. You can do that.
No, we could do that. Well, I mean, the last time we had Lou on, it was just two of us. It was just me and Mike, you know, and it was a killer. It was a really fun discussion. Yeah. And then and he loves Rather. I didn't even know he knew Rather, but he loves Rather's channel. So Rather was got to get in and get on the conversation. You know, I think we're building trust with Lou, and that's all we can try and do. You know, just build trust and be cool with him, and I'm sure he will reciprocate because he has every time. I mean, the guy works his tail off. He can't say yes to everything.
No, I know.
That. You know, I get that.
But if you want someone like Harry Reid, just one or two, like you and Michael, you know, and because if you have so many other co-hosts and guests, you can't really stay on topic,
right?
You know,
right? No, I mean that's what we're doing. You know, anytime we have an interview, it's just two of us, and then you know if the guest feels like staying, they can stay and hang out with the big panel. You know, But those are the things that we've really refined on the show. Like the panels can't be too big. There can't be too many heads because you're right. It just gets confusing. It gets people talk over each other. You know, so it's a dance that we do every day, 5 days a week. But the Unidentified Celebrity Review and the Singularity Lab.
But you know what, Luis Jiminez, you're a goddamn pioneer, my man. You know, you pulled this off. And I mean, you also did this for me and for all the other dudes. You know, you started this, and we owe you.
No, you guys don't owe me a damn thing, man. Yeah. You guys do this yourselves. I don't do the work for you. You know, if you have questions, I'll help in any way I can. I remember when you were doing this show on Zoom and you're like, man, how do I do what you're doing? I'm like, just download this, you know, and now you got it, dude. You're working it, you know, and it's made your life easier, I'm sure. You know, like I want to help as many people as I can, man. If you got questions, if you're trying to do something, reach out.
I almost forgot.
I got no issues.
Oh, and same thing here. You know, if you need anything from me, I will give you the contact. I
know you will. I know you will. I'm not worried about that, dude. I know you will. We're good, bro. We're good. Like we're here to help each other, man. Like we only grow with each other. Like I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody irrelevant. I want everybody in on this conversation as much as possible.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, I accepted a call on accident, but that's okay. I hung up on him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what?
Trying to call me.
Hey, I'm going to text you, a little
Please.
something. And you know what? Don't forget, you're a goddamn pioneer, and I love you, man. Thank you for being on my show.
You're the sweetest, man. I love you too, man. Thank you. Seriously.
And, we'll eat some holidays someday soon.
Can't wait. Get me that Eggs and Benny. Eggs Benny with that hollandaise, baby.
Eggs Benedict or Eggs Benny?
Well, I shorten it. You know, it's Eggs Benedict. You're right. It is Eggs Benedict, but the street slang is Eggs Benny.
I'm gonna use that now.
Eggs Benny with hollandaise, baby.
There's one thing I really miss from New York, and that is a disgusting diner. Just going in there,
a greasy spoon diner.
Oh.
Yep.
Lower East Side.
Man, I'm right there with you, dude. I'm right there with you, dude. Right there with you. Yep.
Eggs, like filter coffee, disgusting. Love it. All right, man.
All right, my dude. I'll see you soon.
See you later.
Later.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.